What if the greatest crisis facing humanity isn't war, climate change, or technology, but forgetting who we are? Welcome to Information World. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that humanity has collective amnesia. Not the kind caused by a disease or a single disaster, but a slow, silent forgetting that has unfolded over thousands of years. We walk, speak, build cities, launch satellites, and write history books, yet something essential feels missing. A deep intuition tells us that we once knew more. Not just more facts, but more meaning. More truth about ourselves, about reality, about why we exist at all. This idea may sound philosophical, even poetic, but it raises an unsettling question: what if humanity has forgotten its original knowledge, its deeper understanding of the universe, and even its true potential? What if our greatest discoveries are not inventions, but rediscoveries? And what if the reason our world feels so fractured, anxious, and directionless is because we are living with a form of collective amnesia? To explore this, we must look beyond simple explanations. We must examine memory, not just personal memory, but civilizational memory. Memory stored in myths, symbols, religions, languages, ancient structures, and even in our biology. Because memory does not disappear all at once. It fades, fragments, disguises itself, and sometimes survives in distorted forms. Let us begin with the nature of memory itself. Memory is not merely a record of the past. It is a structure that shapes identity. A person who loses their memory doesn't just forget events, they lose their sense of self. The same applies to civilizations. When a society forgets its origins, its foundational values, and its accumulated wisdom, it doesn't simply become ignorant, it becomes confused. It continues functioning, but without a clear sense of direction. Humanity today is extraordinarily advanced in certain areas. We can manipulate atoms, edit genes, and send machines beyond the solar system. Yet despite this, we struggle with meaning, purpose, and unity. Depression, anxiety, nihilism, and existential confusion are rising globally. This contrast forces us to ask, how can a species be so intelligent and yet so lost? One possible answer is that intelligence without memory is incomplete. Ancient civilizations seemed obsessed with memory. Not just recording events, but preserving cosmic truths. The Egyptians believed knowledge came from a time of divine closeness. The Greeks spoke of a lost golden age. Hindu traditions describe cycles where knowledge rises and falls. Indigenous cultures around the world speak of ancestors who knew the earth in ways modern humans no longer do. These stories are often dismissed as myth. But myths are not lies, they are compressed memory. When direct knowledge cannot be preserved, it transforms into story, symbol, and ritual. Over time, the literal meaning fades, but the emotional and symbolic core remains. Consider how many cultures speak of a fall. A fall from grace. A fall from harmony. A fall from the gods. Whether it is Eden, Atlantis, or ancient advanced civilizations, the theme is the same: humanity once lived differently, with greater understanding, and then lost it. What if these stories are not fantasy, but echoes? Modern society tends to believe that time moves only forward, that progress is linear, and that the past was primitive. But this assumption may be one of the deepest expressions of our amnesia. We judge ancient people by the absence of modern tools, not by the presence of different kinds of knowledge. For example, ancient structures like the pyramids, Stonehenge, Göbekli Tepe, and many others still challenge our understanding. Their precision, alignment with celestial bodies, and symbolic complexity suggest a worldview deeply connected to the cosmos. These were not random constructions. They were expressions of a forgotten language, a language that spoke in geometry, astronomy, and symbolism rather than words. If humanity once understood the universe as a living system, not a dead machine, then modern reductionism may represent forgetting rather than progress. Another place to look for forgotten knowledge is the human mind itself. Modern neuroscience tells us that the brain processes far more information than reaches conscious awareness. Intuition, instinct, and subconscious pattern recognition guide much of our behavior. But instead of exploring these capacities deeply, modern culture often suppresses them, favoring logic alone. What if intuition is not irrational, but remembered knowledge that no longer has a clear conceptual form? Children often display a natural curiosity, imagination, and sense of wonder that fades with age. Education systems prioritize memorization of external information, but rarely teach self-awareness, inner exploration, or philosophical questioning. In this sense, Education may be accelerating amnesia rather than preventing it. We teach people what to think, not how to remember. Language itself may be a victim of forgetting. Ancient languages often carried layered meanings, where words were connected to cosmology, ethics, and identity. Modern language has become increasingly functional and transactional. Efficient, but shallow. When language loses depth, thought follows. And when thought becomes shallow, memory disappears. Religion is another domain shaped by amnesia. Many religious traditions began as profound philosophical and experiential systems, focused on transformation, awareness, and ethical living. Over time, they hardened into rigid institutions, rules, and identities. The inner meaning was replaced by outer form. This does not mean religion is false, it may mean that religion is incomplete memory. Fragments of something once whole. Even science, the proud symbol of modern knowledge, may be affected by amnesia. Science excels at explaining how things work, but struggles with why. Consciousness remains one of its greatest mysteries. The origin of the universe, the nature of time, and the reason physical laws exist at all remain unanswered. Perhaps science is rediscovering questions that ancient wisdom once approached from a different angle. One of the most striking signs of collective amnesia is our relationship with nature. Indigenous cultures often describe the earth as alive, conscious, and relational. Modern society treats nature as a resource, as something external, something to be controlled. Yet environmental crises now threaten our survival, as if the planet itself is responding to our forgetting. If humanity once remembered that it was part of nature, not separate from it, then ecological destruction is not just a technical problem. It is a memory problem. Technology amplifies this forgetting. While it connects us globally, it fragments attention. While it stores information, it weakens internal memory. We rely on external devices to remember phone numbers, directions, facts, and even emotions. Memory is outsourced. But memory outsourced too completely is memory lost. Social media accelerates this effect. History becomes content. Trauma becomes trend. Meaning becomes entertainment. We consume information constantly, but integrate very little of it. This creates the illusion of knowledge without understanding. Amnesia is not caused by lack of information. It is caused by lack of integration. So what exactly might humanity have forgotten? Perhaps we forgot that consciousness is fundamental, not secondary. That the universe is not just matter, but experience. That reality may be participatory, that observation, intention, and awareness shape outcomes in subtle ways. Perhaps we forgot that meaning is not something we invent, but something we remember. Perhaps we forgot that wisdom is not accumulation, but alignment. Or perhaps we forgot something even more radical, that humanity is not at the beginning of its story, but somewhere in the middle. That civilizations rise, fall, and rise again. That knowledge can be lost as easily as it is gained. If so, then ancient primitive societies may have been survivors of previous collapses, carrying fragments of memory forward through ritual, art, and myth. This reframes the future in a powerful way. If humanity has amnesia, then the goal is not just progress, but remembrance. Not just innovation, but integration. Not just speed, but depth. Remembering does not mean returning to the past. It means recovering what was lost and carrying it forward consciously. Education could shift from pure information delivery to self-understanding. Science could expand to include consciousness as a serious domain of study. Technology could be designed to enhance awareness, not distract from it. Culture could value wisdom as much as novelty. Most importantly, individuals could begin the process of remembering within themselves. Because collective memory begins with personal memory. When a person reflects deeply, questions assumptions, studies history critically, observes their own mind, and reconnects with nature, something shifts. A sense of continuity emerges. A feeling that life is not random. That existence has depth beyond appearances. This does not require believing in any single ideology. It requires humility, the humility to admit that modern humanity may not know everything, and that forgetting is possible. In fact, forgetting may be inevitable. But remembering is always a choice. If humanity has amnesia, then awareness is the cure. And awareness begins with asking better questions. Not just how does this work, but what does this mean? Not just what can we build, but who are we becoming? The future of humanity may depend less on what we discover next, and more on what we finally remember. And maybe, just maybe, the feeling that something is missing. Is memory trying to return? If this perspective made you think, question, or see reality a little differently, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep explorations here on Information World.